Before you start,
Previously on Dragon Ball Z. Trunks! Future of Trunks. Months later, the Z Warriors are startled to sense a familiar presence on its way to Earth. Could this power be Goku finally returning home? Rushing to the scene, the Z Warriors are horrified to discover the source of this disturbance. Frieza and his father, King Cold. Frieza somehow managed to survive the destruction of Namek, and now he and his father have come to Earth in search of revenge. But before they can enact their twisted plan, they are confronted by a mysterious youth. In a bold display of Super Saiyan power, this brash young warrior easily dispatches the evil father-son duo. But who could he be? He is Trunks, future son of Bulma and Vegeta, and he has traveled through time to give the Z Warriors a dire warning. In 3 short years, a pair of evil, seemingly unstoppable androids, created by the insane Dr. Gero, will carve a path of destruction across the Earth. None who cross this path survive. A painful lesson Trunks has been forced to learn time and again. The world of Trunks' future is a world of fear, a world forced to live under the dark shadows of the cold-blooded androids. Few heroes are left to combat the threat. Goku succumbed to a deadly heart virus prior to the androids' arrival. Without their greatest fighter to aid their struggle, the remaining Z Warriors, Piccolo, Vegeta, Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, all fell before the android's awesome power. Only Gohan remained, and it is he who has begun teaching Trunks to harness his Super Saiyan powers. Together, the two hope they might still have a chance to defeat the androids and return peace to the Earth.
this area. You must kill all enemies before proceeding. Great! Now that you found the antidote, you can go back to the past and help Goku. Burning! There are still enemies in this area.
Trunks! Future of Trunks. Months later, the Z Warriors are startled to sense a familiar presence on its way to Earth. Could this power be Goku finally returning home? Rushing to...
Eliminate all enemies to advance. enemies to advance.
Burning!
Eliminate all enemies to advance. There are still enemies in this area.
get you.
I'm getting bored.
Give up! This is your last chance!
I can't believe it! After Gohan suffers a near-fatal defeat by the androids, Trunks rushes his injured master back to his mother's underground home. Though his body is shattered and one of his arms lost, Bulma is slowly but surely able to nurse him back to health. Last hope. Once recovered, Gohan resumes his training of Trunks, and for a time, the two were able to work in relative peace. But when the androids launch a sudden attack on a nearby city, the time for training is over, and the time for action has come.
There are still enemies in this area. You found the last piece! Now bring me the parts and I'll get you back to the past!
I'm going to get you.
I'm just getting started!
That's it. No more games.
Give me your best shot!
I won't let you get away this time.
I won't stop until you are destroyed!
Aw, did that hurt?
I'm just getting started!
Let me show you how it's done, 17.
Give me your best shot!
Focus your attacks on Android 18!
You're toast!
It's over! You're done for!
Here's something extra.
I won't hold back!
Go back to the past and help Goku.
This
I
is
won't
the
give
dark
up.
world Trunks left behind. And this is a future he now hopes to prevent. The androids. Having recounted his troubled tale, Trunks presents Goku with a vial containing an antidote to the heart virus he is one day doomed to suffer. If Goku can only survive the virus, thousands of people may be spared a future of death and terror at the hands of the androids. Trunks takes his leave, but promises to meet them all again at the precise time and place of the androids' first appearance. The Z Warriors take these words to heart, and for the next 3 years they train with all their might, until at last the time comes to meet the android threat. The androids. Having recounted his troubled tale, Trunks presents Goku with a vial containing an antidote to the heart virus he is one day doomed to suffer. If Goku...
You must kill all enemies before proceeding! There are still enemies in this area!
The Z-Warriors have come face to face with the sinister foes of Trunks' prediction. Android 19 and Android 20 have arrived. And little do our heroes realize, Android 20 is none other than the mad scientist Dr. Gero himself. Though Gero started out human, numerous robotic enhancements have given him all the powers of his android creation. As they demonstrate by covering a section of the city, fearing too many innocent bystanders would be caught in the crossfire, Goku decides to lead the fight away from the city.
You don't have a chance.
Super Saiyan Vegeta. The battle begins, and the androids are clearly unprepared for Goku in his Super Saiyan form. Goku's victory seems certain, until the mighty warrior suddenly begins clutching his heart in pain. Could this be the deadly heart virus of Trunks' warning? With Goku's advantage waning, Android 19 prepares to pounce, when another Saiyan steps in to finish the fight. It's Vegeta, ready to show the world that he too has become a Super Saiyan.
Come, Android.
You're nothing! I'll crush you!
I will drain all your energy.
I think it's time to finish this.
You've got to protect Goku! You must kill all enemies before proceeding! There are still enemies in this area! You must kill all enemies before proceeding! Eliminate all enemies. You've got to protect Goku! You've got to protect Goku!
Super Saiyan Vegeta. The battle begins, and the androids are clearly unprepared for Goku in his Super Saiyan form. Goku's...
You're nothing! I'll crush you! You're in for a surprise!
You've got to protect Goku!
After watching Vegeta send Android 19 to the scrap heap, Android 20, aka Dr. Gero, decides it is time to make a hasty retreat. Trunks arrives on the scene just in time to catch a glimpse, and is shocked to discover that these androids are not the same ones that destroyed his future world. But there's no time to ponder this strange turn of events. The hunt for Dr. Gero is on.
Eliminate all enemies to advance.
You can only carry three. You can only carry 3 Senzu beams at a time.
Eliminate all enemies to advance. There are still enemies in this area.
Piccolo escapes to his secret lab, one step ahead of the pursuing Z-Warriors, and hastily activates two more of his diabolical creations, androids 17 and 18. But the Doctor's haste proves to be his undoing, refusing to submit to his control. The androids turn on their creator. The Z-Warriors blast through the doors, just in time to witness the Doctor's demise. And Trunks realizes that these new androids are the ones responsible for the destruction of his future world. Despite Trunks' best efforts to stop them, 17 and 18 manage to activate yet another android, number 16, a killing machine designed for the sole purpose of destroying Goku. Recognizing the threat, Trunks calls for a retreat, but Vegeta's pride will not let him back down. The Saiyan Prince launches into battle.
A bag of bones.
Fool! You don't even have a chance!
Focus your attacks on android...
Having been easily defeated by the androids, the Z-Warriors split up in search of new ways to increase their strength. Meanwhile, the androids set out in search of Goku. Should they find him, Goku will be unable to defend himself until the antidote can take effect and eliminate the heart virus that holds him in its deadly grip. The situation desperate, Piccolo travels to Kami's lookout in the hopes of fusing with the aged Namek. Long ago, Kami purged the evil from his heart, thus splitting himself into two equal halves, Kami and Piccolo. If these two halves were to become whole once again, the result would be a Namek of incredible power. Kami realizes that this fusion may be the only way to combat the android, but he is hesitant to agree, for he senses a new evil roaming the Earth, a creature far more terrified than the androids. Piccolo's fusion. After assessing the situation on Earth, Kami reluctantly agrees to fuse with Piccolo. In an explosion of power, the two halves are made whole again, and Piccolo is transformed into a Super Namek. The new and improved Piccolo races to Master Roshi's house, where the androids have gone in their hunt for Goku. Now Piccolo must put his powers to the test as he faces the androids alone.
Oh, it's you again. Don't you ever give up.
You'll be eating my fist.
17 rages on. The evil force, Kami Warnda, rears its ugly head. The Time Chamber. The monster Cell, Dr. Giroux's ultimate creation, has but a single goal. Only through the absorption of androids 17 and 18 can Cell become complete and achieve his perfect form. And now, the monster is one step closer to achieving that goal. He sweeps Piccolo aside and attacks Android 17. Unable to resist, the android is absorbed, and Cell's body begins its shocking transformation. Before Cell can set his sights on Android 18 and complete his transformation, Tien burst onto the scene. Summoning every ounce of his strength, he holds the monster at bay with his powerful Tri-Beam technique, giving Android 18 a chance to escape. Meanwhile, Trunks and Vegeta are hard at work within the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, a special room in Kami's Lookout in which a fighter can gain a year's worth of training in just one day.
I'll crush you, you freak!
Give me your best shot!
I'll show you what a real Saiyan is!
I won't stop until you are destroyed!
You fool! I haven't even started yet!
I'm just getting started!
Holds out against Cell for as long as he can, but at last his strength fails him. But before Cell can reciprocate in kind, Goku suddenly appears on the scene. Using his instant transmission technique, he transports Tien and Piccolo back to the Lookout for a quick recovery. At the same time, their year's worth of training completed, Trunks and Vegeta emerge from the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, more powerful than ever. Imperfect Cell. Cell's frustration grows as his search for Android 18 proves fruitless. He has traced the android to a chain of deserted islands, and he begins destroying the islands one by one in an attempt to flush her from hiding. But before he can close in on his target, Vegeta and Trunks arrive on the scene, eager to put their training in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber to the test.
Fool! You don't even have a chance!
There are still area. Eliminate all enemies to advance. You must kill all enemies before proceeding. There are still enemies in this area. Eliminate all enemies to advance. There are still enemies in this area. You must kill all enemies before proceeding.
Fool! You don't even have a chance!
The battle continues. Cell soon realizes he is outmatched by the father-son Super Saiyan duo. But in a crafty move, he temporarily blinds Trunks and Vegeta, then swoops down to absorb Android 18. His goal finally realized. The monster undergoes his final transformation and becomes Perfect Cell.
You're nothing! I'll crush you!
Trunks and Vegeta resume the battle, but they are powerless to defeat Perfect Cell. Clearly amused by their efforts, Cell allows them to live. He challenges them, along with all of the Earth's most powerful fighters, to take part in a martial arts tournament. The Z-Warriors have no choice but to agree. Now, they have just 1 week to train before the fate of the Earth is decided in the Cell Games. Super Saiyan Gohan. Goku and Gohan enter the hyperbolic time chamber in preparation for the Cell Games. Goku has a plan for victory, but first he must teach his son to harness the incredible powers hidden within him. Gohan must become a Super Saiyan.
You can't beat me! It's over! Give up!
Goku and Gohan
This is a
emerge from
waste
the
of
hyperbolic time chamber and decide to use the remaining time before the Cell Games for a little rest and relaxation. The Cell Games. At last, the day arrives, and the Earth's strongest warriors converge on the Cell Games arena. Goku is the first to challenge the monster, and after an impressive display of fighting prowess, he surprises everyone by forfeiting the match. Goku bows out, conceding that he is not strong enough to defeat Cell, but he offers up an even stronger fighter to take his place, Gohan. Goku believes that if Gohan's anger is provoked, he will release his true hidden potential and defeat Cell. Cell is eager for the challenge. In an attempt to fuel Gohan's rage, he releases an army of Cell Juniors and orders them to attack the rest of the Z Warriors.
Okay, don't say I didn't warn you. I haven't even started yet. I won't let the people of Earth down. I won't let you get away with this. Is that all you got? Give it up. There's no use.
As the Z-Warriors struggle to survive the vicious attacks of the Cell Juniors, Android 16 attempts to subdue Cell in a desperate move to end the violence. The monster Cell, however, is not easily subdued, and with a single devastating blow, he reduces Android 16 to scrap metal. Upon witnessing the peace-loving android's untimely demise, Gohan's rage is at last ignited, much to Cell's delight.
The final showdown.
After witnessing the destruction of Android 16, Gohan's rage ignites, and in an explosion of raw power, he ascends to a new height of Super Saiyan strength. In this anger-fueled state, Gohan obliterates the army of Cell Juniors, then sets his sights on their cruel master, Perfect Cell.
I will rule the universe.
You can't beat me!
I will rule the universe.
Catch me if you can! You can't beat me! It's over! Give up!
What's wrong with you?
Have you had enough yet?
You pathetic weaklings will never defeat me!
You're gonna have to do better than that!
Please, it'll take more than that to beat me. You will all die.
You can't beat me! have to do better than that!
Gohan bombards Cell with a series of punishing blows. His final punch so powerful that it causes the monster to spit out the absorbed Android 18. No longer complete, Cell's body returns to its previous state, and with the resulting loss of power, his defeat seems certain. Rather than be defeated by a child, Cell chooses to blow himself up, and the Earth along with him. With mere seconds left to act before the fiery explosion, Goku transports himself and Cell to King Kai's planet, once again sacrificing his life to save his friends. The battle with Cell is not yet over, however. A single cell of the monster's body survives the blast, from which he is able to regenerate, once again attaining his perfect form. Cell returns to Earth to finish the battle with Gohan, locked in the final showdown.
Gohan, you've got to use the Kamehameha to defeat Perfect Cell. I will rule the universe.
Have you had enough yet?
Gohan summons the last of his strength, and with a helpful push from his father in Otherworld, his Kamehameha wave overwhelms Cell. When the smoke clears, Perfect Cell is no more, and a new era of peace on Earth has begun.